Going live. All right, and we're live. We're live in a bunch of places, I think. Sorry we're a few minutes late. We had some technical difficulties, but we're doing it. We're here on my Facebook author page, YouTube, Instagram, and Learn to Communicate with Animals with Joan. And I'm so excited to be here because I love energy healing and I love all things energy. And I can't wait to talk about it. I'm going to give it a moment for people to get on. And there's Cindy and Cindy Coleman. And so Yasmin, I've got some of my elves here, my helpers. Is anyone coming on? Can you tell if we're where we're live? And
yeah, we are. We live everywhere.
Okay,
and
goody.
Hey, everyone's jumping on very quickly.
Okay, good.
We've got people jumping on.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself and this class and all sorts of things. I'm so excited that people are here. So if you're new to me, my name is Joan Renquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And the school is for people to learn animal communication or become an animal communicator, learn energy healing, become an energy healer. It's an amazing school. And our nature and wildlife is coming in the spring. So we'll have a whole other section of the school coming out in the spring. And also, we have a lot of things coming up. We've got a lot of acupressure classes and body work. So we have all kinds of things coming up. So I'll talk about that in a few. But anyway, if you're new to me, I want to welcome you to this because this is my fun in the world. And I love teaching. I've been teaching for about 23 years, it turns out, since 1998. I've been teaching energy healing and animal communication. And I also, I love to give people my mission because when you hear my mission, you'll know that the minute that you've joined here, now you're involved and you have to help also. So my mission is to empower people to deeply connect with animals so that together we can give voice to those who can't speak for themselves and ultimately heal the planet through being able to help together. So as we help the planet, as we learn communication, as we do this healing work, we are absolutely helping to heal the whole planet. But I had to put a number on it. And a couple of years ago, I put a number of 1 million animals. I wanted to help 1 million animals. And I know that in the group that we have and Learn to Communicate with Animals with Joan, we did so many fun classes. And plus my program, the people in my program, we did so many amazing things together that first year I had the group that I know we hit the 1 million mark. And then last year we upped it to 5 million. And I know we helped 5 million animals. So this year, it's 10 million animals. So if you're new to me, then you're part of this. You've got to get out there and help me help animals and help for yourself. I'm part of your mission. You're part of my mission. So that's it. And in this class, the Basic Energy Healing for Animals Masterclass, we're going to have a lot of fun this week. First, we're going to talk about body work, and I've got someone here that's going to, I'll bring her on a little bit, do some body work, and but we're also going to talk about what happens in the body and why it's so important. And then the other thing, Abby, did you want to come up? Abby, oh no, she snubbed me. Are you really going to snub a bunch of people? All right. Anyway, so we're going to talk a lot about why body work is so important in energy work. Okay, she's lying down on the dog bed here maybe she's going to be the demo dog. So tomorrow we're going to talk about, it's going to be a continuum of the body into energy fields. And then the next day will be chakras. And then the next day we're going to do one of my favorite techniques, which is EFT, emotional freedom technique. And then you could see Abby's tail Abby did her tail came into the frame. And then on Friday we'll have Marie Christine, and we have a class through the school coming out in the fall called Subtle Energy for Animals with Marie Christine. So anyway, I just wanted to share also that, it is end of July. So that means the fall picks up with the fall intensive, the animal communication level 1, and energy healing for animals level 1. So we have all sorts of courses in the fall coming up, and you'll hear all about those in the next few weeks. But so are people here, Yasmin?
Yes. Oh my goodness, people are here. And they are commenting everywhere. And I'm running in between this Facebook group and your Facebook page and Instagram and YouTube. It's so much fun to see everybody's comments. Everybody is so excited and happy to be here with you. It's just incredible, the vibes that I'm feeling. I wish you could read the comments, but you will afterwards, I'm sure. But I'm trying to help everyone out as much as I can. And we're going to have a probably like a 10-minute Q&A at the end. So save your questions for the end, and we'll try and get to as many as we can. And you can jump right in, John. It's crack-a-lacking.
Okay, good. So the first thing I wanted to do before we get going, and this is really important for everybody to think about. In my book, Energy Healing for Animals, I talk a lot about having a sacred space, and a sacred space in your home, but it can also be in your heart. And setting an intention. When you know what the animal needs that you're working on, you even just by virtue of being there, you're setting an intention that you're there to help for the highest good of all. But I'd like to set today's intention that we really just start to come together no matter what's going on in the world. We all love animals, and by being these people that love animals, no matter what insanity is going on in the world, we're here together to help and to move out of the way of our judgment, move out of the way of expectations, and to just really allow healing to happen, however that might happen. And I want us just to take a breath and be in that intention. Okay, so when we talk about energy healing, and tomorrow we're really going to go more into kind of like the morphic resonance, if you will, and the energy healing of our household and the ecosystem. But when it comes to energy, I think no matter what you do, I know that a lot of us have this idea that we want to work on animals remotely, and we want to do all this, oh my God, I sent so much energy. But the truth is, the physical body is an amazing vehicle. And in that vehicle, a lot of things get stored. And I tell the story, so if you've taken my classes, especially lately, because I've been telling the story a lot, but I love to tell this story as an example of what happens in the physical body. So let's say that you're a little duck and you're floating along in a pond and life is good, and all of a sudden over in the distance you see two beady eyes looking at you, and there's a little fox that's looking at you like you're going to be dinner. And so all of a sudden what happens for animals and humans is we go into fight, flight, fright, or freeze. And so let's say for a moment the duck freezes, and then it gathers itself together, and the adrenaline allows the wings to pick up and lift off, and the duck flies away. And so the duck flies off to the other pond, another pond down the woods, down through the woods. And in that other pond, he runs into his friend, and he completely forgets about the whole thing that just occurred with the thoughts. And what's happened in that flight is that all the adrenaline, so there's fear, and all the adrenaline is able to just be released through the flight. So what happens in our bodies is we hold on to things for a moment because we gather the strength to do something. Like I just saw something on the news yesterday or last night or this morning that somebody hit a pedestrian with a baby, and everybody came together and lifted the car off the baby. And I mean, that's the sort of thing that adrenaline does. So we need it. We absolutely need it. And we don't need it stored in our bodies. And so what happens is, so all animals in the wild, their survival is based on emotion, because they are absolutely feeling into, are we safe? Are we safe? Whether you're predator or prey, you're feeling into what's going on. Yesterday, a number of my teachers from the school, we went up and we were able to spend time with some wild horses, and we would be in the middle of this herd. It was crazy great. And you could just feel the energy, and one would do something and they all moved. And that's the way it is, just on a good day. But when one feels something really threatening, they all move in a big way. They are all connected to each other, and they're all connected to their own emotion. So if they become afraid, they go into survival mode. So I like to say that emotion is what basically runs our household. And so our animals at home, if they don't have an exercise routine or a number of other things, don't have the opportunity that that duck had to release the stored emotion or the stored experience. And for some animals, like for that duck, because he was able to release it flying over to the other pond, it's not a stored trauma. So for a lot of our animals at home, injuries, trauma, things like that get stuck in the body. Emotions get stuck in the body. And when we're at home and we're stressed and they have their own stress, we don't realize how much we're compounding that in their body. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the handouts. And for those that are not in Learn to Communicate with Animals with Joan, or signed up for the class, I'll just walk through the handouts real quick. But you can get your own set of handouts in the if you sign up. So I like to talk about the invisible systems of the physical body a lot, because that's what informs us then where we're going to do our energy work, how we're going to do body work, all of that, whether you're working remotely or not. And I've been teaching, like I said, animal communication and energy healing for about 23 years. And I love to just jump into things that are experiential. And today we're going to be doing a little more kind of, listening and learning. But from tomorrow on, pretty much some things are going to be hands-on. So let's just talk about the invisible systems of the body. And the first one that I think everybody knows about are the chakras. And we're going to really review those on Wednesday. So we don't have to go too far into that. But if you think of chakras as basically an energy system, an energy wheel shaped power center that exists in your auric field while also penetrating into our physical body. And it actually touches along the spine. When we think of this, I like to tell people that, and there goes my handout. Thankfully, I have Rhonda here to hand me my handout. Thank you. When we think about, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow, but anything that finally enters the body, it's come into your energy field first. And so, and then come into the chakras. So the chakras are basically oh good, thank you for joining me. They are, in the Hindu tradition, they have fancier names, but they are attached to, there's an emotional perception attached to each. But also, what's fascinating is where the chakras land, it's also connected to where the nerve centers are. So it's emotional, energetic, and physical and physiological, if you will. And it's also associated with the endocrine system glands. So, like I said, Wednesday we'll really go into that more. Another invisible energy system in the physical body is the meridian, and the meridians, and that's a map of the physical body. There are 14 meridians, and each of them are connected to an organ system. Not each of them, the governing vessel and the conception vessel are not, but most of them are connected to an organ that's connected to an emotion. And again, we'll go over more of that on Thursday. But when we think about the meridian system, it's like a map to the body. And in having this map, that a lot of people say that there's two schools of thought where energy healing started. One is, of course, Jesus laying his hands, and even before him, John of the Cross. So there's the whole biblical version of energy healing. There's also the Chinese medicine healing, history with healing, and that is that a Chinese doctor could not touch the emperor. He had to have the emperor's helper put the needles in the body, and then the needles were attached to a string. The Chinese doctor would be in the other room, and he would have to feel the energy of the string to know to tonify or to adjust the needles in any way, shape, or form. So he was doing, that was known as the first remote healing, basically, was through Chinese medicine. So the meridians play a very important role in the physical body. Then another thing that happens in the physical body that's also energetic are neural pathways. And the neural pathways, when we think of a habit, we think of, I think of some of my habits are some pretty deep trenches. And I'm just going to read to you this because it's basically neural pathways form in our brains. Every time we learn something and apply it, we create a neural pathway. And after doing the same thing a few times, that pathway becomes ingrained. Neural pathways are like so a good example is riding a bike, tying your shoes. Like once you learn it, you just do it, and that's a neural pathway. And even I say here, neural pathways are like well-trodden grassy paths where the blades are bent over from repeated footfalls. It will take some time with no one on the path for a while for the grass to recover. So if we have bad habits, for example, we'd like to replace them with good habits. And the way I like to say that even the emotional relationship that we get into with our animals often creates a neural pathway. And so I also share a story that I'm going to share a lot more tomorrow about when my dog Olivia was with me. We had been separated from my ex. I'd been married, had the dog. We lived with my then husband and stepkids. And in there, my mother died. Some other things happened. I separated from David the first time. My dog grieved. Then we got back together, moved to Florida. A bunch of things happened. We separated. Second time, got divorced. My dog grieved. We moved, lost a cat. My dog and I mean, we both grieved. So we were used to grieving together over certain events. And then at some point, she didn't come with me because my dad was too fragile. And then when my dad died, I saw her start to grieve because she was seeing me grieve. And I asked her to be the dog. And again, we're going to go into that way more tomorrow. But the point is that was a neural pathway that she was just following along with me because that's what we do We grieve together. And I had to not allow that. And so when we can retrain our brain, we're creating a certain neuroplasticity, and that's what our animals definitely love to, they will go along. I mean, the idea that you can't teach an old dog a new trick is crazy. So another thing that is really important, and we're going to see this, that we can't see with the visible eye, are nerves. And I've seen a lot of animals, and Rhonda will talk a little bit about this, where animals, for example, when a tail starts to go in an older dog, you can start to really revive certain parts. A nerve can remember where to go as long as we remind it where to go. So we'll be talking to Rhonda more about the physical body in a few minutes. But that's a very important place to be aware of in the body. You can really, I saw Rhonda do some work yesterday on an older dog where a lot of it was just reminding the body of what it used to do to be able to get it moving again in a more efficient way. And less painful way. And then another part of the invisible system is cellular memory. And that we deal with a lot in cellular memory comes up when we're healing, especially with scalar wave, like we're reminding the cells to be something else. And also, cellular memory is something that you can have an experience once and you don't let it go. It's similar to the neural pathway that, like, I can tie my shoe. There are some things in life we do that are stored in our body that are just cellular memory. And then lastly, and this is hugely important, especially when it comes to bodies, the body stores muscle memory. So what happened, say, with the older dog yesterday was it created a new muscle memory of how to walk as an older dog. And what Rhonda had to do was remind it how, as a younger dog, it walked. We fall into patterns with muscle memory when we've had accidents. We fall into patterns with muscle memory when we've had trauma. We fall into patterns of muscle memory when we've had injuries. And I think, we'll talk more about that with Rhonda. But I wanted to really just remind people on this first day that as much as we love energy and we'd love to be able to, heal thousands by just saying abracadabra, and everybody on one island gets healed on Thursday. We'd love to have that kind of tool and toolkit, but it starts with the physical body. And most, energy really has to penetrate into the body. It can't just be something that's a surface thing. And a lot of times people forget that, things like chakras actually have real physiological value, not just emotional or energetic. And so we're going to start with the body today. And also, our relationships with the body are so important. We can be really healing animals with just the most innocuous, just light touch. It doesn't take a lot to help heal an animal. So, Yasmin, are people asking any? Well, we'll take questions at the end. I want to bring Rhonda on, but we're good.
Yes, there are just lots of comments on what you're saying, and just thank you for doing the masterclass. And I do want to address something that is going on in the chat over the channel, that people are having trouble with the video. There seems to be the video is freezing. There is non-synchronization between your voice and the video, and I'm not sure why. I'm trying to understand if it's because we're using StreamYard and we are streaming the video over multiple channels on Facebook. So I'm just asking people to be patient. It seems like the sound is good,
Okay.
And people are listening to you, and it's coming through really well. It's just the video that is freezing. So we're looking into it, guys, for some solution. But just so that you should know that these videos are being recorded and will be available on Joan's Facebook group only. So I'm going to put the link to join the group so that you can access the recorded videos in the Facebook group. And just be patient, and we're really glad that you can actually hear Joan well, apart from not being able to see the video or that it's freezing.
Yeah, we're going to turn off all Wi-Fi things here in the house just to make sure that that's not draining from it. So when I think about, again, we talked about muscle memory, emotions, everything being stored in the body, and we'll have Rhonda come on here in a second. When I think about people that do animal massage, T-touch, cranial sacral, myofascial release, and then what we're going to learn from Rhonda about her positional release and therapeutic stretch. I don't know why people aren't busy, the people that do animal body work, from 9 in the morning until 9 at night, because it's almost the most important thing you could do for your animal. We were up early working on my animals, and I can't thank Rhonda enough. And so I'm going to let Penelope, I'm going to bring Rhonda on. Penelope, come on. You got to let her up. Come here. Penelope wants to just sit in the chair. There we go.
I mean, I could do positional release on her in the chair.
Yeah, but people need to know what it is first. Okay. All right, so. All right, come on. Up, up. You can come up here. Or you can be with her. Up, up. Come on, up, up. Or just be on the dog bed. All right. So, this is Rhonda Gay. And I can get in the frame a little bit there too. So, I've known Rhonda since about 2004. I met her in Florida. And she's a physical therapist for humans and works on dogs and horses and cats. I have videos of her actually working on my cats. And we're going to do some demonstrations here in a few minutes. But I wanted to go over with you. So how did you get started working with animals?
Well, so I had been a practicing physical therapist on humans for about 10 years. And I was interested. I'd always wanted a horse, asked my dad for a pony, every year, just like every little girl probably at some time or another. And so about 10 years after I started working, it was time for me to get my own horse. But I realized that I didn't know a thing about taking care of them, right? So I started taking classes at in an equine science program in equine management and anatomy and physiology and behavior and all that, and I just to take care of my own horse really, and then one of the classes mentioned careers in equine science and equine law, equine photography, and I thought equine therapy. So back 20 some years ago, I started researching if that was even a thing. And
because you were already a physical
therapist. Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to see if that was a thing. And there were some classes in equine massage and canine massage, and I just started taking those classes. And as things developed through the years, then I started working with a number of vets and other physical therapists and chiropractors, and we started, developing more techniques and ideas on how to keep our animal companions as comfortable as we keep our human companions.
And can Yasmin, I just want to make sure everybody can hear Rhonda. Okay. So
let me check. I'm looking to see.
If you could talk a little louder.
Yes, I think everybody can hear. If you can just talk up a little bit more, Rhonda, I think that would help.
I figured. Okay. All right. So I met Rhonda in Florida, and she's worked on every single one of my animals over the years, and does amazing work and very unique. So tell me, what are some of the things then specifically that you learned? And just to give you a little bit of history, I also, in the 90s, when I first became an animal communicator and an energy healer, I started learning. I got certified in T-touch and acupressure, eventually cranial sacral. And in about 2000, I kind of let all those certifications go. But my knowledge of it has been huge. And that's why teaching with Jill, the acupressure courses that we teach through the school and through Jill and Joan. Sorry, the dog moved you. She's in a dog bed here. It's been so fun for me to be reinvested, if you will, in acupressure. And then, of course, I love all sorts of other things. And I've been just eating up what she's been doing with my own horses and watching her work yesterday on those dogs. So tell me some of the things that you learned how to do and that you apply to your own very specific thing. And by the way, her website is rhondagay.com, but it's coming soon. Write it down, but it's coming soon. Anyway, go ahead.
So, through the years of working on people, my hands-on skills have developed through humans, and everything that you do on a human can be adapted to the animal. If you know the anatomy, physiology, energy systems, like you were saying, it can be adapted to the animal. So through the 25 years that I've been working on animals, I have developed and modified techniques that I've used on humans into working on animals. And one of my favorite techniques has been positional release and therapeutic stretching, because it decreases muscle spasm on one hand, and then it allows the muscle to relax enough for the joint to be able to go through its full range of motion, and the muscle to be stretched into its full length, and therefore you get optimal mobility, optimal opportunity to strengthen the proper musculature, and then optimal performance, whether it's weekend warrior performance or really high level performance.
Or even just walking down the street.
Walking down the street, exactly. Okay. Like the dog yesterday, just being able to walk 10 feet.
Yeah. And so what happens when an animal is in pain?
So when there's injury or trauma, then you have pain. And what happens with pain is it sets off a muscle reaction of spasm. So this is going to be very generic, very simple. And I want to say that the energy systems and the musculoskeletal system, while two separate entities, work very, very much together, and they influence one another back and forth.
And I just want to say that Rhonda, up until Linda McCoy, who just joined the program, took the class in 2004, took animal communication, and then it was 4 years ago that she finally joined the program. She's gone through the big program and is a teacher in the program, but it took her about 16 years. And now we have someone that's taken them 22 years. But anyway, go ahead. So you're not the slowest one to join the program.
But, slow and steady wins the race,
right? Absolutely, because you took classes in North Carolina. So when she's talking about energy systems, she knows because she's gone through the program. So go ahead.
Okay, so the idea, so when you have pain, you have muscle spasm, muscle guarding. What that does, when a muscle goes into spasm and tightens, it shuts off not only the flow of circulation, blood flow, but also the energy flow. So the energy gets blocked, the circulation gets blocked, and then the muscle, then you have more pain because you don't have the proper nutrients and the proper energy. And then you have more pain, more muscle spasm, more pain, and it gets into this big cycle. So in positional release, we try and get the muscles to relax fully and then shut those receptors receptors off in the muscle that's holding that muscle tight and tense. And when the receptors shut off, then the muscle can relax, the circulation and the energy flow can go back through there, and then the nutrients can get in the muscle, and then you can stretch the muscle, and then the joint can have its full mobility, and then of course restores function.
And balance.
Balance, exactly.
So one thing about animals that we would see in the wild that's similar to what some animals do in our home is they would mask the pain.
And compensate.
So in our own home, for example, I think this is really important, is that if an animal is masking and compensating, often you'll see behavioral issues show up that wouldn't be there normally.
Absolutely.
And then you also, and I mean, it's so common. I can't even tell you. In the school, what we do is through animal communication is we get a sense of the essence of the animal, and you could see that somebody might be a pleaser and yet they're doing something terrible. Then we know it's time for medical intuition and then some sort of body work because it is not like them to be like this. So masking in the household, even though people think they know their animal better than anything in the world, it would still take place, right?
Absolutely, right. And so a lot of those behaviors, and that's been one of my main goals, is that people don't realize the relationship between pain and behaviors, pain and naughty behaviors, pain and unwanted behaviors, and a lot of times they've just compensated. They're pleasers.
Yeah.
They want to do right. They've compensated to the point where they can't compensate any longer, and physically, and so now they're trying to compensate behaviorally, and sometimes it's not the behaviors that we want.
Yeah. And another version of that would be even if they compensated for so long and then the stress of the household adds an element
The
of,
emotions,
exactly, that compounds it to the point where it's like,
Exactly. And then emotions attached to organs, and then that's how your organs become into play. And
yeah.
so it's really, I mean, the system is so integrated. You can separate and work on separate individual things, but you have to work on it as a whole. Otherwise, you don't get the whole picture.
Yeah.
You don't get the whole healing.
So I wanted to, I want to have a little demo. Do you have anything more to say, or are we ready to do a demo?
I'm ready to do a demo.
Okay. So we're gonna have. I'm gonna move everything back, or maybe what I can do. And so some of this is. All right, Delilah. We'll see who shows up to get on the bed. I'm gonna get up. You stay for 1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna move everything. Maybe I'll just move this back. And then, wow, there goes the coffee. Hey, Abby, you want to come out? You want to lie down? Abby, do you want to do the demo? Oh, Abby's going to get worked on. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back. And you're going to have to talk really loud.
Okay.
Can you see yourself? Yeah, but I'm going to move this down.
Back a little bit more.
Can you see the dog?
Can you go back just a teeny bit more?
Uh-huh.
There, that's perfect.
You have to be really loud. Okay. Can you see yourself here?
That one needs to come down. And back a little bit, and then you'll have it. That's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so I'm just going to do a demonstration on what I mean by positional release and some therapeutic stretching and what it would look like on your animal. So in positional release, I want to put the muscle that's in spasm, I want to put it in a position of ease or its feel-good position. So instead of trying to stretch a spasmed muscle right away, I'm going to try and relax it, shorten it first, get the receptors to shut off in the muscle, Then I can take it through its lengthened position and stretch, and then we can get some good mobilization or movement of the spine or whatever joint is restricted at the time. All right. So
Wait, can I just say one thing? So while that might not be something that you can do at home, and we'll show something that you can. In the meantime, I wanted to talk about when you know your animal is releasing, is they yawn like she just did, or they'll lick and chew, they'll pass gas, you'll hear their tummy, they'll sigh. Like my horses this morning sighed, I heard big tummy, big yawn. So you'll know that you're getting into the parasympathetic nervous system, which, again, when we're dealing with the body, we're dealing with energy and emotions. And the first step of healing or changing any behavior is relaxation, is getting them into the parasympathetic nervous system, getting them out of fight or flight. So we're going to watch Abby have some experiences where we can see she's coming out, where she's really deepening her relaxation. I think I'm going to move that camera a little bit. Go ahead.
So the first thing I need to do is find out where the spasm is, where it's coming from, before I can do the technique. So Abby's looking pretty good, but let's just say that this muscle here is in spasm. See, she yawned already. And that's how it's going to happen. A lot of times, if you just put your hands on with the intention of doing something helpful, they're going to start to release automatically that energy system. So
I just broke it.
oops.
All right, I'm going to have to hold it.
So let's just say this muscle's in spasm. I can go through the legs to help shorten that muscle. And I can also shorten that muscle with my other hand. And she's yawning already. And then I hold that for as long as they'll allow me to, but 60 to 90 seconds. And then I slowly bring that tissue back out to its normal position. And then I can go into the passive, the therapeutic stretch in the other direction. So if the muscle is tight and it's holding it this way, I'm going to push it up in that direction even more to allow it to turn off. Then we can stretch it out, and it'll stretch out the other way. And look at that nice stretch through there. Thank you, Abby. That's just a quick demonstration of a positional release and a therapeutic stretch technique for your animal.
Okay. What is something they can do at home?
You can do some positional release through the shoulders, through the neck. So you say if she's tight in the neck, you can gently, bring the neck to you without traumatizing.
Big yawn, big release.
You can, if they're laying down, you can mostly go through some range of motion of the limbs in different directions to affect the muscles even along the spine.
She plays so hard, and she loves to chest bump anybody. So I imagine up in the neck there.
Sure. So if we had some tightness up here through the spine, I could lift that shoulder blade up like that and relax all these muscles up in here. I could bring the shoulder blade back down this way in order to release the muscles here. And then once they release, then you've got some nice. Little excursion of the shoulder and the limbs.
Queen Latifah wants in. Hi, Queen Latifah. That's amazing.
So there's some really gentle techniques and some range of motion for the various joints and for the spine that you can teach the owners how to do on their own animals.
And at some point, that's something we're going to do together is create, so we'll have some classes with this. And now I'm, you're going to have to hold this.
Go ahead. I'll hold it.
All right. Yeah. Did she go away? She went away. Okay. There, mic was off. The mic went off. Okay, so I broke my thing, and so Rhonda is now the camera person, and I apologize for that. Somehow we turned the microphone off, but we're here. So somebody asked, does that work for cats? And I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Rhonda's worked on all of my cats, including Queen Latifah, who you saw Queen Latifah coming in here because she wanted to be worked on.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you've got a flight, but although we could grab her. But anyway,
Then I couldn't hold the camera.
then you could, but I could hold the camera.
Oh.
But yeah, then we need a burrito for Queen Latifah. Not all cats need a burrito, but Queen Latifah needs a burrito. So anyway, I would love to. Any other questions, Yasmin? And I just wanted to say also that on Saturday. So on Saturday with our Q&A, if we don't get to your questions now, just save up your questions. And Saturday is just full on Q&A. So that'll be really fun. And in the meantime, anything else? Any other questions?
See any other questions coming in right now?
Okay.
I'm still checking on all the channels.
So then we'll get to questions next week, and I'm sure questions will filter in because this has a flow, right? We started with the body today. Tomorrow we're going to do energy systems. You're going to see how it all integrates. The next day we're going to break down the chakras. Then we're going to break down the technique, EFT, and then we'll have Marie Christine. So there will be a flow, and there's plenty of opportunity to ask questions. And the handouts are pretty clear. But I really wanted to just take a moment to thank Rhonda for coming. And normally we would have ended together, but now she's camera woman, as I was camera woman when she was working. But I'm really grateful that Rhonda was able to be here, and we will. You'll see more from Rhonda. I bugged her and Jill for 4 or 5 years before Jill and I even started Jill and Joan with the hemp extracts. I bugged them. I wanted to do like a 5-day hands-on thing, and so it's coming. And then there will be some digital classes with Rhonda. But anyway.
And I thanks for giving me the opportunity to do this, and it's always a great pleasure to work with you.
Yeah, we've been working together for about almost
20 years. Yeah.
So this is fun. I used to sit and tune in to the horses while she would work on them, or dogs. Last few years it's been dogs. But we've definitely been working together for a long time. So anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for being here, and I just want to, we started with an intention, and I want to close with an intention that we just, we take this information in, and we move forward with great connection and ability, and we're going to keep moving with this whole thing. And for those that want to go deeper, of course, people that are already animal communicators that want to learn more about energy healing, people that are massage therapists, body workers that want to learn more about healing, people that just know that this exists and want to develop it, people that already have like a veterinary practice, trainers that want to add this on. I am creating a little offer for this week of my Energy Healing for Animals Fundamentals. It's a 12-week digital course. We've got a special offer for that of $100 off, and it also includes the EFT and the scalar class. So it's got it's like a $800 value for, I think, $397. So more on that. And well, thank you for joining me. Anyway, I want to also remind people that we have the fall intensive. If you have any questions, if you know you want to work with us in the school, you can always get on with Shannon and have a little strategy call and figure out your next direction. And her information is info@joanrandquat.com. And tomorrow, as I said, we're going to go over lots about the energy field, the energy system, the ecosystem, if you will. We're going to talk about bubbles, how to bubble up for safety. It's going to be very fun. We've got cool handouts, and Penelope is mesmerizing, isn't she? And so, anyway, I'm really grateful that you are here, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And anything else, Yasmin, I should know about?
No, just everybody saying thank you so much. It's been an amazing class, lots and lots of comments. And there was just to let people know that if they want to get the handouts, to sign up, because they're only available on through Joan's private Facebook group, Learn to Communicate with Animals with Joan, and I'm going to put the link there. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time to continue.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Go to rhondagay.com, and you'll find my phone number or email if you have any questions for me as well.
Okay, so tomorrow will be, as I said, energy fields, ecosystems, and I want to thank everyone for being here, and we will do a lot more tomorrow. We have a lot coming up, so just take in today, like I said, take a moment to take in today. Oh, there's a cat. And we will have big fun coming up. Thank you.